What's up, viewer? Get a news reporter, Mary Lee. It is 4:04 a.m. in my city, Chicago. April 29th, 98% on my phone. Tricky Tuesday, 2025. Now I'm gonna talk a little bit. People like the way I talk. I'm gonna talk all the way to 429 because today is my ex-girlfriend, LaWanda Joy Jacobs' birthday. Blue Cross Blue Shields Insurance Agency agent. Jehovah's Witness, and someone I met many moons ago while I was making money. And I done figured it all out. I done just watched this movie called Trapped in Temptation. One of the girls' name was V. She was very, free-spirited. She had, in the movie, had 3 divorces, 1 son that was grown, and she was just carefree. But she had a couple of people that she was involved with who would, prey on people who are, probably alone, widowed, divorced, or, lonely. Now, let me take you back, viewer. My name is Mary Lee, aka Mary Mack. I was born, originated rap since age 8, 1975. A lot of stuff I didn't know because I grew up as a DCFS person, meaning Department of Children and Family Service, without family. My family knew I was the breadwinner, was going to be somebody special. And of course, everybody played their part and I had to figure it out the hard way. That's my story in a nutshell. But for the most part, I stood up for myself against child abuse victims at the age of 6 because I too was a child abuse victim in 1973. I got a birthday coming up May 25th, 1967. I don't trust nobody. Never did, never have, because I've always been abandoned, abused, taken advantage of, and I could smell a thief and a cop a mile away. But I play with the devil sometimes just to let him know God is real. You understand what I'm saying? Just to prove a point. Now, that's it. I met a few interesting people along the way, and everybody that came in my life was a problem, was out to give me some kind of way, or I was trying to dodge a bullet or some kind of disease, or, whatever the case may be, because I raised the consciousness of a lot of people with rap and, made a lot of people billionaires, trillionaires, zillionaires, and I'm the big one, right? And everybody is now got their claws on me and trying to take me out and just to, speed it up. They gave me cancer on a psych ward in the Cook County Jail in 2016, the day after Mother's Day. Because, these goddamn mothers, they don't play fair. And these ladies, these girls, women, for some reason, they always think they can outsmart a motherfucker. And, I've been in the streets all my life. And early on, I knew when I was selling brownies in a Girl Scout, or as a Girl Scout, to keep the money, eat the cookies, or both. You understand what I'm saying? Because if I'm going to put all that work in, I deserve to get the pay, or at least some of it. I'm not no hoe. But people have always tried to pimp me some kind of way. So, sometimes I allow stuff to happen just to prove a point. And this is why I'm going to speed it up at. I met a young lady when I was in job court. She was a mixed breed, foreigner. And, this was after I gave up. I went for my child abuse rap at the age of 17 in 1984. You got to remember, Michael Jordan and Oprah started in the same year. So it's all a timeline. You understand what I'm saying? And everybody trying to come up, right? And people gravitate towards the money. And, infiltrate your city, this, that, and the third, or whatever. And I've watched my city, Chicago, go down from flourishing since I've given my rap story or spoken out really at the age of 6 in 1973, you know, about being a child abuse victim. And I don't know who my caseworker was who came to get me and dropped me off at 1335 East 75th Street, and where I became the originator of rap at the age of 8 in 1975. But I do know she was a black lady. You understand what I'm saying? Real talk. And I moved on and moved on and moved on. And then I noticed Oprah, once I went through the DCFS and they no longer wanted to be bothered with me, I guess they had exploited me enough, them and Catholic charities, kind of like child trafficking and all that weird stuff, I don't want to go off into it, what it is and stuff. Long story short, I figured Oprah would be the perfect person to give my child abuse rap to. So I did. But before I gave it to her, I read it to my youngest niece, Dion Nelson, a.k.a. Dee Dee, because I was staying with my older sister, allegedly, Linda Nelson, and her 4 daughters or whatever and stuff. And I read my child abuse rap to my older sister, Linda Nelson's youngest daughter, Dion Nelson, a.k.a. Dee Dee. Now, when people have children, they be looking for people to come up off of. And, obviously, I was worth something because when I went to job court, I was getting a check, right? They was getting a check for me, my sister was, and from DCFS. And, she was only giving me $50 a month. So I went and talked to my caseworker. I said, I can't really do nothing with $50. So they upped it to $75. And I was like, wow, I got to do something. So, they was paying people to go to job court. You understand what I'm saying? And I went to Cleveland, Ohio, job court, right? It was all girls. And I took up nursing. I met a girl by the name of Tamara. She was a foreigner or whatever. But I told my older sister before I left, I said, look, I'm going to be gone for, about 6 months or whatever. You can keep the checks coming. Just give me $75, that you was going to give me a month. So that would have been almost $600, right? When I got out 6 months later. And of course, I asked her and she didn't have it, right? I ain't arguing for us to fight or nothing. And that's problem number one, because when you don't fight, they think you stupid, right? So I played that role for a long time, the dummy. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm smarter than the average bear. But long story short, the person I met at job court, the foreigner, she took up everything. She liked me. You understand? I liked her. But where she went wrong was she told me I reminded her of her boyfriend. So I gave her my sister's address, and sure enough, she popped up in a car. She wanted to kick it with me. And I was like, nah, my sister, she wouldn't like that or whatever and stuff like that. And I never saw her again, right? Because I'm building stages in my mind, and it's all an act, just like Too Short said. You understand what I'm saying? Trying to keep my pockets fat, right? Now, I know I'm the originator of rap, and I know I'm worth more dead than I am alive. And I know Oprah been exploiting me ever since I, presented her my child abuse rap. And, of course, The Color Purple came out in 1985, after 1984, after I gave her my child abuse rap. Now, with that said, I left my older sister house because, she wasn't talking about nothing. You understand what I'm saying? Real talk. As far as helping me, she was just taking, like they always do. They always taking. They always come around when you about to blow up, or you got some money, or they hear you got some money, because, more money, more problems. Long story short, I met this lady by the name of Donna Marie Evans, and I was with my oldest sister, one of her children, daughters, you understand what I'm saying? And her name was Nene. She was second to last, to Dee Dee. You understand what I'm saying? Real talk, my youngest. Now, niece. And I'm on the King Drive bus in my city, Chicago, number 3. And this Italian lady, kind of cute, named Donna Marie Evans, tapped me on my shoulder, and my niece was right next to me. Now, at the time, I had men clothes on, but my breast was protruding, and I had, you could tell that I was a teenager and a young lady. But, I'm still kind of smart. I just don't talk a lot unless I have to and stuff. I really don't want to do this video, but, I'm going to speed it up. Long story short, I met Donna, she gave me her phone number, but I had sense enough to ask the guy she was sitting next to. I said, you don't want her? And he was like, no, she wants you. Now everybody on the bus knew that. And everybody on the bus, including my niece, Juanita Nelson. And remember, Michael Jordan's first wife name was Juanita. And his second wife that he got right now, the mixed white lady or Italian, whatever, name is Yvette. And that was my best friend named Yvette later on in the life and stuff. Right. So, it's all connected, right? If one don't get you, the next one will. They just pass you around. To sum it up, long story short, it's all the money hustle. It's a game. And if you watch the movie that I told you about early on, tempted, what was it? Trapped in Temptation. Yeah, you'll see that it's a gang affiliated situation, and the whole system's corrupt. Just like Lil' Kim said in her song "Slip It" on her album, The Naked Truth. Now, this is why I'm your ghetto news reporter, because, sometimes I stumble over my words, sometimes I go in circles, but you all figure it out in the end. Long story short, me and Donna got together, and she had a son by the name of Mario. He was 5 years old. See, they need people with money, with benefits, and, they come in my city, or they, migrate, or whatever the case might be, gentrification, or whatever the fuck going on, right? You understand what I'm saying? Ain't nobody brought them motherfuckers over here. They came willingly because they thought everybody in America was stupid and shit and dreaming like Martin Luther King. But see, I got what you call common sense and shit. And when you don't have family, you got to fend for yourself, and you tend to figure out a lot of stuff. And I listen to a lot of music. You understand what I'm saying? Watched a lot of movies. You understand what I'm saying? And heard a lot of bullshit. And I know coming up, niggas didn't have shit, and all of a sudden they got everything, and I still ain't got shit. Make it make sense. I don't drink, drugs, smoke, or fornicate. So I've been getting fucked every which way but loose. Long story short, they going in for the kill. But this is where they went wrong at. They kept extracting stuff and tearing down and taking money out of my city. And what I grew up knowing this city had, my city, plenty of, activities, skate rinks, movies, amusement park called Fun Town on 95th and Stony, all kind of stuff for us to do. Game rooms, this, that, and we ain't got nothing now. We got drugs, alcohol, and pimps, players, and hoes, and diseases running around and shit. Real motherfucking tip. This is what we got left out of since 1973 that I know for sure. You understand what I'm saying? On up to 2025 this year. Okay? So, with that said, Donna, she was into Social Security and going with older guys and scamming and ooh out the bam. I'm not about that. So she knew I was kind of different, right? So she put me on kind of to the wholesale stores, one way or another, you be giving it up like Tupac said, So I got into selling music and general merchandise and this and that nature, because I would have been doing that anyway, even if I didn't meet her, because, I'm a salesperson, and I'm an independent person, and, I don't like working for nobody. Long story short, but also I'm a writer. You understand? And I'm the originator of rap, and I knew Oprah, I was dropping seeds, planting my seeds. So, when I get out the streets, I get some money. You understand what I'm saying? In the end, because if it don't work out like that, we all gonna fucking die. Because they trying to kill me, thinking they can keep all the money that I influenced and, people made because of my, selling merchandise or whatever and blowing people up or whatever. So, they think if they kill me, they keep all that money, which is about $1 zillion in everything. Gold, oil, money, gold, silver, uranium, whatever the fuck. You understand what I'm saying? So just think about shit that we've been buying and they've been blowing up, and the money they pay athletes. And then think about the fact I never had more than $25,000 at one time selling some bullshit at the end of the fucking so-called street selling vendor career. You understand what I'm saying? Real fucking too. Never been on a fucking vacation for real. Never had a day at the spa for real. Never had a real, never been to a basketball game and stuff. So they didn't got over like a fat rat. But as long as they have me looking good and halfway decent, people think I got it going on. No, Never had a fucking new car. You understand what I'm saying? And the little shit that I do get, they fuck up and try to take and, have me trying to keep spending money I ain't got. You understand? And then trying to drive a nigga crazy on top of that. You understand? Imagine that. Now, Donna, I know, knew LaWanda, Pac, and everybody. She definitely told me she met Oprah Winfrey. My fault. LaWanda said she met Oprah Winfrey. You understand what I'm saying? The Jehovah Witness, the Blue Cross Blue Shields. And then Donna, she work in real estate and motherfucking goddamn banking and shit. Plus she's a scammer and gangbanger and police affiliated and Italian fucking mafia and shit. You understand? I'm a one motherfucker like Tupac say, me against the world. And guess what? I fucking won, nigga. I figured out the Bible with my Jehovah Witness girl. I figured out how to be a hoe running up and down the street trying to figure out how these hoes think and shit. It's in concrete out in my city. The streets is literally talking and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because, Africans, they got the hieroglyphics and shit. They put the writing in the wall. So they come over here writing on the fucking goddamn ground in concrete and shit, fucking up motherfuckers' money. You know what I'm saying? We got to pay for that concrete mess. And here you go with the bullshit. And I guess that's what they call it, the concrete jungle. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you what God loves is the truth. Now, with that said, to sum it up, because I don't even like talking about it because I've been talking for it so long or whatever and stuff. And I don't want to confuse somebody who don't know how the game go. But the game go, it always be a bunch of them. I don't know if you know the game 3-card Molly. This is the only way I could probably make it make sense to you. 3-card Molly. Okay? They get some dumbass motherfucker who thinking they can get something for nothing, right? And it be about 4 or 5 of them motherfuckers. And then they let the dumb motherfucker win, you understand what I'm saying, a couple of times or whatever and stuff. You understand what I'm saying? And, he won about $100, $200 or whatever. And then, he started losing or whatever and stuff. And then they friend come in and they start winning or whatever. And they start winning. And then the other dudes jump back in that don't know shit and start, losing, because they trying to get the dumb motherfucking money and shit. And everybody thought I was dumb for some reason. And I'm like, I just didn't say what I wanted to say because I wanted to make as much as we could because they can't make it without a dumb person, right? But I ain't never been dumb. In the Martin Luther King dream, I said, well, what if this dream really could come true? You understand what I'm saying? Because niggas wasn't talking about shit for real, but pimping and pandering and shit. Now, I'm all for, motherfuckers getting their money, but I'm a Mack. And you learn from the best pimps and hoes, which is the Mack. You understand what I'm saying? So what made you think you'd turn around, get the game from me that God gave to me to make sure you ain't got to be out there turning up and getting killed for running into people's houses and killing them or whatever the case may be and stuff? Because eventually that runs out. People have family. People have friends. You understand what I'm saying? And God is real. You understand what I'm saying? So how long you think y'all going to keep scamming? Because it's all in the church now. It's in the schools. It's everywhere. You understand what I'm saying? Like Lil Kim said, the whole system's corrupt. And she tried to be a good girl. But, when you make all that money and you already in that circle, you know what I mean? They not just going to let you out and stuff without a real nigga approval. And I'm the closest one to God. You understand what I'm saying? Which means until you do right by me, all y'all, scammers, hoes, players, pimps, whatever the fuck y'all is, you understand, trolls, so-called Mary Mack admirers thinking you know who the fuck I am. Until you do right by me, like the Color Purple say, everything you think of is going to fail. I don't care what kind of mob boss you is or how many mob ties you got or gang affiliation, none of that. You can't rob God, nigga, especially when the one God sent, got sense enough to know that without you, there is no me. And without me, you understand what I'm saying? There's no you. And without God, there's no us. You understand what I'm saying? While y'all thinking you could just kill everybody and get it over. Look, God had forgave y'all for y'all sins and stuff. Real talk. I have forgave you for what you did to me as a little girl, violated me, raped me, tased me in my kidney, hit me in my jaw, beat me up. I don't know if my mother died for real. She might have been in on it too because, the Bible said mothers against daughters, daughters against, mothers, and fathers against sons, sons against fathers. The whole Bible is, that's why I said, give my book, rhymes, poems, and metaphors, plus one song away just like the Bible, because I knew they coincided. Now, it's just something I know. But what I don't approve of is when people know that I know and the jig is up. Because, all I'm doing is bringing it full circle. You understand what I'm saying? Real talk. All I'm doing is getting some closure. And it's, like I said, my ex-girlfriend, slick ass, you know what I'm saying, birthday. And she thought, she really, had me under her thumb or whatever and stuff. And I'm like, you made so many mistakes. It was ridiculous. For real. I just allowed you to make a lot of mistakes. And when I made some, you corrected me. And, and you laughed and you wanted to be in that circle and stuff. Everybody want to be somebody they not and stuff. And I said, if I'm going to die, I'm going to go out doing me. You understand what I'm saying? Don't die in vain. Because, I got multiple talents, not multiple personalities. I got multiple gifts. Now, I don't know what's wrong with you all. But I know one motherfucker thing. If y'all don't get y'all shit together, they gonna lock all y'all motherfuckers up. And that's the honest God's truth. Because there's some real motherfucking decent people in this world. And, they work hard for their little money and stuff. And all we were supposed to have for real, was 40 acres and a mule. Meaning, a picket fence, white picket fence, and a, 2-car garage, 2 kids, if that's what you want or whatever and stuff, a backyard, money to go on vacation, a nice little, pension or whatever. But some motherfuckers just greedy as fuck. You understand? Oprah Winfrey was worth almost $500 million in 1995 when I told her, I already know I'm worth more dead than I am alive. Just give me $2 million tax free and the rest could go to charity. She was trying to tap out then, but I tapped back in, and of course, greed set in and she went for it some more. And that's why she went off the air on my birthday in 2011, May 25th. It's my birthday. You understand what I'm saying? But she went off the air in my city, Chicago, in 2011. Just to shit on me. It rained like cats and dogs that day. And that's why I say don't shit on me and say it's raining. Now, I told him, I joke what I say. Even when I joke, I ain't joking. You understand what I'm saying? So when people don't take to heart what I'm saying and people start dying and stuff, and you think that's cute when your family start dying and all that, because that's what's coming. Y'all then bought into your own demise. Because you didn't see the gift. But now you see it. Because you brought me back to this trap because you want to see everything, right? I haven't been with nobody. I've been in this trap ever since May 31st, 2017, after they gave me cancer in May of 2016. You understand what I'm saying? And I've been here almost 8 years. It'd be 8 years, May 31st. You understand what I'm saying? But I ain't gave these motherfuckers nothing in about a year because I'm like, I done figured out Proverbs chapter 6. They owe me now 7 times the amount and double for my troubles. Real fucking talk. And that's just for what I done already put in. You understand? Real talk, because they haven't done nothing for me. Why? Because they're not going to help their enemies. Oh, they not going to help their enemies. They want me to help them, and they want me to be all drained out and woo out the bam. But I'm like this. Everybody that came in my life and still coming in my life, and I said in the beginning that one of the girls named in the movie was named V. I got one at church. Her name V. Miss V. Yeah, she thinks she's something, boy. I swear, she been trying to hook me for a long time. But every now and then, the ones that be trying to hook you end up getting hooked and shit, for real. Now, you gonna get hooked or booked? Which one is gonna be? Because the little games you playing and stuff, it's 2025. Niggas ain't never been asleep to the beat. And everybody that know me know I don't play this fuck shit. You understand what I'm saying? Without doing some fucking. And if I ain't been doing nothing for real, it's got to be a reason. And I don't speak this loud about something I don't know. So for the ones who think they know me better than I know myself and my higher power, I advise you to take another look. Real motherfucking talk. Because it's 428. And if I was gambling, you understand what I'm saying? All y'all would have been dead within 8 years of me being here. And if I would have kept on going, they would have killed you anyway. Because ain't no honor amongst thieves. Watch the movie. Okay? Trapped in Temptation. And then get a clue, motherfuckers. This the 7. Like I said, if I was gambling, you'd be dead. And this the 1. Don't never bite the hand that feeds you, bitch. I gave Oprah Winfrey my child abuse rap at the age of 17 in 1984. We still got, there you go, 429. Happy birthday, LaWanda. Dreams really do come true. But like Martin Luther King said, he believed he was leading his people into a burning house. And you better believe it. Think about it now. Who's the man? Peace.